What's up, wrestling fans, trading card collectors? Welcome to another episode of Wrestling the Cards. Today is part 1 of the 1987 WWF Circle K Supermatch card set. Today's video is going to cover a little bit of the background on this set, and then we're going to be looking at cards number 1 through 10. So to my knowledge, these cards were available at the Circle K convenience stores and had some sort of loose affiliation with Coca-Cola. And this is not really that surprising. Many times, especially in the 80s and part of the 90s, we would see crossover in food release products with trading cards. Not just wrestling, but sports cards and other IPs as well. And I don't know if you want to call this an affiliation or a sponsorship, whatever you want to call it, it is what it is. Just not surprising. These were irregular shaped cards because the bottom was almost like a ticket stub and it could tear off and you had a scratch section on there. And from what I could tell, the scratch offs were 4 different kind of puzzle pieces of a wrestler you could put together and then send in for a prize of some sort. Or there was also instant win scratch-offs. That being said, after doing some research and talking with some other collectors that have honestly been doing this longer than I have, nobody seems to know what the prizes were to these or anything else, be it the instant prizes or the mail-in prizes. Could they be Coke products? Could they be discounted items or credit towards purchasing something at Circle K? Could they be some sort of WWF prize? Maybe it's a complete set of cards, action figures. Maybe it's tickets to the event. Who knows? But if you know and you're watching this, I would love to know more about this background of this set, so to speak. So if you've got information on that, if you want a prize, anything you can kind of relate to the discussion of the prizes of these wrestling cards, let me know in the comments below. Leave a comment, share it with the community so we can know more about this set. But regardless, back to the cards. A lot of times you'll find these cards with that perforated section with the prize scratch off missing, so you just have the top half. Those are definitely the most common version of this set to find, but overall it's not really that rare of a scarce set. Obviously, it is going to be in condition sensitive, the very, very condition sensitive, and again, you got to find the one with not very much of the scratch off gone, if any, and almost every one I find is rounded corners creasing through it because they're just irregular cards. They're hard to store. But all that being said, it doesn't make them any less cool. There's some great images on these cards, and those images, for me, serve up some of the best 80s nostalgia in my life. So let's just go ahead and jump into it. This is part 1. Card number 1, Hulk Hogan. Man, I just love this image. This is elite level 80s Hulk Hogan right here. Cool color match with the design of the card. And again, this whole set has that less is more design that focuses on the image. Hulk Hogan highlighted as the WWF Heavyweight Champion here. At 6'7", 303 pounds, Hulk Hogan, the WWF Heavyweight Champion, is wrestling's most awesome physical specimen. From his 24-inch pythons, brother, to his massive thighs, every inch of the Hulkster is sculpted muscle. Inside the ring, he is the most powerful force in the WWF, and although he has been challenged by many, he remains undefeated outside the ring. He is the most popular and best recognized WWF wrestler in history. Still holds to this day. Card number 2, Hercules and Bobby the Brain Heenan. Hercules and Bobby the Brain. What a great combination. I always loved Herc. I thought he had that look that you would expect when you look up the word professional wrestler in the dictionary. As a side note, I always loved how the LJN figure of Hercules never really matched his look on TV. But I digress. Classic Bobby Heenan here as well, just a great image. He claims to be a reincarnation of the mythical Greek hero of the same name, yet Hercules may have been more dangerous and powerful. Okay. This 265-pound mammoth is currently being managed by Bobby the Brain Heenan. If anyone is capable of developing him into a legend within the WWF, it's Heenan to be for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Hercules is a real rough and ready competitor who sometimes gets a little too tough in the ring. He often erupts into fierce rages within the squared circle and needs to be restrained. Most of the other members of the WWF consider him to be a dangerous opponent. Those unfortunate victims who have succumbed to Hercules in combat will attest to that fact. The HART Foundation. Gotta love this one. You gotta love the whole HART Foundation in one single card. But my favorite part of this is referee Dangerous Danny Davis, the evil heel wrestling referee. Before there was Nick Patrick, there was Danny Davis. For some reason, he's always been one of my favorites in the group. Maybe it's because I just hadn't ever seen that cheating wrestling referee before. But overall, just a great card here. And some may even say that this would count as a Bret Hart rookie card. I know. Jim the Anvil Neidhart and Bret Hitman Hart are the backbone of the WWF Tag Champion Hart Foundation. Together with their manager, Jimmy Mouth of the South Hart, they've compiled an amazing record of one-sided victory. Their formula for success is obviously combining the immense strength and skill of Neidhart and the cat-like speed and technique of Hart. The Anvil batters them, and the Hitman pins them. Now with a recent addition of referee gone bad, Danny Davis, that's my guy, The Hart Foundation is more like a fearsome foursome. A diabolical manager and a trio of trouble are indeed a force to be reckoned with. Randy Macho Man Savage. If there was ever a wrestling card that sent me straight back to the 80s and my LJN wrestling figure collection, it's this one. I love it. Such a great image. And this image, like I said, is almost identical to Macho Man's LJN figure from 1986. Randy Macho Man Savage is a superb 240-pound wrestler and terribly strong one as well. Most experts feel that Savage is good enough in the ring and he doesn't have to stoop to illegal maneuvers. But he appears to enjoy it too much and continues to break the rules anyway. It was a combination of his strength, skill, and perhaps a bit of cheating that allowed him to be the former WWF Intercontinental Champion. His manager, the beautiful Miss Elizabeth, adores her, quote, Macho Man. Coco Beware. I seem to be making the tie-in with the images on the cards and things they remind me of, moments in time. Although, I guess that's what cards are supposed to do, right? But this Coco Beware sends me back to watching the music video of Coco singing Pile Driver. I love that video when I was a kid, and hey, I still do. I think it's a great song. I think overall I enjoy Coco more as a kid than I did as an adult, but nonetheless, this card is great. The Birdman is well known for entertaining the ring, accompanied by Frankie, his pet macaw. Together, they dance The Bird, much to the delight of WWF's younger fans. Hey, see, maybe that's why I enjoyed him more as a kid, because they were appealing to kids. One of the WWF's most compact and acrobatic stars, Coco stands at 5'7" and weighs 228. This Union City, Tennessee native is known for his trademark move, the flying drop kick, and the Ghostbuster. George the Animal Steele. Again, another card that takes me back to those LJN figures. And yet another character I enjoyed more as a kid than I did as an adult. Either way, a great image of what may be one of the Animal's most memorable staples, that being the whole rip up and eat the turnbuckle pad thing. The only thing missing from this image is his trademark green tongue. George the Animal Steele is a wild 288-pound beast-like man who can speak only a few words and is famous for tearing up the turnbuckle pads with his teeth. Steele, who is immensely strong and suffers from violent fits of rage, can at times be as gentle as a puppy. It is this unpredictable behavior that makes him one of the most feared wrestlers in the WWF. Next card up, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Okay, so this card is the first one I've covered in this video that I actually don't like. I just don't like the image used on here. I don't think it's very good. Even though I do like Steamboat, I generally liked posed live shots, but this one it doesn't do anything for me. From the big island of Hawaii comes Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Since joining the WWF, this 6-foot-tall, 234-pound martial arts expert has dominated his opponents. In addition to his chiseled good looks and the powerful physique, the Dragon is best known for his dive off the top rope. This dangerous wrestling move almost always results in a full-body press pin of his unfortunate opponent. Next card, Honky Tonk Man, the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. Love this one. Great shot. Although in a red suit, which we normally see cards of him and action figures in the blue suit. The gimmick that keeps on giving, though, as I've always been a fan, this card rules. Strut and Stroll Rock and Roll best describes this unique musical member of the stable of the Colonel, manager Jimmy Hart. Jimmy Hart's always changes his name. Honky Tonk often threatens to sing one of his favorite tunes to his, quote, loyal fans before the matches, and claims that he is the late Elvis Presley impersonated him throughout his legendary career. In keeping with the Memphis, Tennessee heritage, Honky Tonk's trademark move, Shake, Rattle, and Roll, is a neck-breaking maneuver that has helped this 6'3", 243-pound defeat some of the World Wrestling Federation's top contenders. Next card, Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Hacksaw looks like he just woke up in this picture. I am not really the biggest fan of this era of Hacksaw. I did like him in Mid-South. But once he got in the WWF and beyond, I wasn't that big of a fan, and I do not like this image. Hacksaw Jim Duggan stands up for the red, white, and blue on no uncertain terms. Hailing from Glen Falls, New York, Hacksaw's trademarks a 2x4 that he often uses to make a point with unruly contenders. His no-nonsense law and order attitude has come down hard, along with his 2x4, on such unpatriotic types as Nikolai Volkov with devastating effect. A relative newcomer. No, he's not. He's been in Mid-South for years. We can expect the best from Duggan. However, his opponents can expect the worst. Card number 10, Kamala and Kimchi. Great image here of not only Kamala, but Kimchi. I've spoken in past videos and podcasts about how this gimmick wouldn't work in today's climate for numerous reasons. But for the time period, I loved everything about this. It was a bit silly, it was a bit scary, but it just worked. I love everything about it. A tribal terror from the darkest heart of Africa, Kamala brings 408 pounds and 6 feet 5 inches of wrath to the WWF. Managed by the Wizard and attended by his handler, Kimchi, Kamala dons a frightful mask and enters the ring to tribal rhythms. With a ceremonial spear in hand, With his war paint and massive bulk, Kamala's trademark splash off the top rope can paralyze even the most formidable opponents. And that's the end of part 1 of the 1987 Circle K WWF Supermatch wrestling cards. Do you have any of these cards in this set? What do you think of this first round? Let me know in the comments what cards you like, what cards you don't like, or if any of these images kind of spurred that 80s nostalgia for you like they did me. I kept going back to the LJN figures just because these images sent me right back to those figures. But again, I'd love to hear your opinion. Leave me a comment below. And I thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to watch this video today, whenever that is. If you enjoyed it, if it brought you some value or entertainment or nostalgia, please hit that subscribe button, give me a like, and before you get out of here, check the links in the show notes below for all the other ways you can help show your support for my content. There's links to the podcasts I'm a part of, links to Wrestling with Cards Patreon community, links to my eBay store, links to my social platforms, and much more. And until the next video drops, click the videos on the screen wherever they are for more great wrestling card content in the archives. We'll see you.